Hello guys, welcome to my channel for new battle reports. So this is the 7th game of the WTC. It is very long tournament for me, and I think especially for my wife. For me it's okay. I enjoy it a lot, and yeah, it has been a very nice journey until now. This is the semi-final stage. I'm playing against Menno from Holland. And you see the other half, there is Hugh against Maxim. Hugh, who was from my group, so it's it's very funny. And then basically the winner goes in the final, the loser goes into in the semi-final, in the battle for the third spot. So we still have, no matter what happened, there will be an 8 game and an 8 battle report in this tournament. So very interesting to have that many interesting games. We had the pleasure to be invited on Warhall TV for this game, so it was live broadcasted by Warhall team. Thanks a lot again to Warhall guys for the invitation. I have the link to the video in case you prefer to watch the entire battle rather than the battle report. I will put also the link in the description of the video in case you want to have a look at that. So thanks again for the invitation. It was really cool to participate, and yeah, afterwards just hear what were the comments on the decision and things like that. So this is again my list. Yeah, I put you the nice player card that Warhol designed for us. It was quite funny to see this card. So you have my list again, you know it already. And this is my opponent's list, a short list, basically. 2 Great Demon, you have Courtesan, full option, Resilience 6, cancel Divine Attack. Then we have Sentinel of Nukuja, Master of Divination. Courtesan is Master of Witchcraft. Sentinel has the Guiding Marrowed Scale. And then we have triple scoring in core, only 3 scoring. A block of Lemur with Unnatural Roots. 2 units of Succubi with Hatred. 5 Siren with a Champion to act as Chaff. And then 2 units of Bloodflies with Broadmother and the Champion. So very short list, straightforward list that is looking forward to go into combat with a lot of combat buff at his disposal. So I knew what to expect. We played Capture the Flag on map A3, and it was Frontline Clash, spell selection. I didn't took the breast weapon, actually that's a mistake. I took Pentagram of Pain because I thought it might be helpful to be able to heal myself. Then I took Hand of Glory, and then the 2 big blasts, especially for Sibaresh and Hereditary with Magical Heirloom. Deceptive Glamour, Raven's Wing, and my opponent, no surprise in Divination part with both Unerring Strike and Fate Judgment. And then he took also reroll to hit Divine Attack and Scrying, so distracting. And then I was a little bit surprised by the selection in Witchcraft. I took reroll to Wound. Very good, obviously, with the flies. Deceptive Glamour, which is also very nice for all the combat and makes a good double spell with the +2 weapon skill from Divination. And then he took Twisted Effigy, I think, to diminish a little bit what I could do with the shooting of Kadim Titan, shooting of the Bastion, and potentially also my Occultism, and then an Hereditary spell. So he decided not to take Raven's Wing, not to take especially the 2d6 random move. I think it's a very strong spell. It's always good, and I was surprised that he didn't select that one, but yeah, I think he had his reason for that spell choice. Matchup analysis. So that was my thought process before the game. I always do this shit before the game and not after. It wouldn't be fun. So Master Divination, he has a limited mobility. That's the good point, at least. You know my list is very sensitive to Divination. I have like 1/3 of the list that has a 5-up, 5-up, so very sensitive to Divination. And the good news is he has limited mobility. He will be within a new unit, pretty central, I expect. So if I have my Great Bull and my Titan on flanks, I should be fine, more or less. The Anointed unit need to be far from Sibaresh, the big Anointed unit. I want them to fight the flies, but Sibaresh, I knew that already since I fight Hugh, who was also playing Sibaresh. Basically, I don't want to go in a duel between Sibaresh and the BSB because it's not so in my favor, so I need to be careful what I do. Clean his chaff as soon as possible to control the boards and especially control the counter charge that I might be able to have. The Bastion with Flaming Banner, I was surprised. It can really hold the flies a long time. When I made the math before the game, I was surprised because popping the Flaming Banner in combat, basically, it avoids him using these toxic hits. So basically he has only 13 attack on 4+, 2+, because of parry. And then I still have a 6-up. Won't do that much. And I have 3 ranks and a standard, so I can hold a long time. And especially I also have a crush attack, which is nice against the flies. We play Capture the Flags, which is not a good news, but at least the Succubi will be hidden, and at least at the beginning. And if he wants to use them, then it could be a risk for the secondary. So I think if they stay hidden, it will be hard for me to win the secondary, but at least it's 2 units that are out of action, more or less. It's a complicated matchup for me. Divination, Master Divination is not a good news. Then I think combat-wise, I have some solutions, but then the combination of the map with flag frontline is not that good for me because I have a lot of flags. I have 6 units that score, and it will be hard to protect all of them. I expect him to push me, obviously, and I need to play on my higher number of units to set up counter charges. I knew that in a one-on-one situation, I won't be able to win fight against flies. They are too good for me. So I need to set up counter charge or to get combo charges. Here's the deployment. The big arc that you see here is the range for divination. So here has the sentinel within the lemurs, courtesan on the left, 2 units of flies, unit of sirens, and Succubi in the back. I decided, since I want the roll for sides, to take the bottom because the wall is nice, and also I give him the house in his part of the board, meaning I can use this part of the board to like slow down his push. At least it's not straight. He's not coming straight at me. He has to wheel and come toward me, and it might take some time. So I put all my scoring on this right corner. You have my Anointed Star with the BSB in the middle, my Bastion unit who is like closing the corner, the Chariot and Anointed as a piece that are going to go into the flank to set up some counter charge, and then my 3 Vassal unit in the back. Great Bull in the middle and Titan on the left. Basically, I want to give him choices to make. If the Lemurs with the Sentinel want to go towards my scoring base, then somehow my Titan could be annoying for him to go towards the back. And the Great Bull, basically, I was expecting to play with the heal, support also the Bastion, because at some point I expect him to go in CC against my Bastion, so I might need the support of the Great Bull for the upcoming close combat. Turn 1 Demon uses Siren to chaff Bastion and Anointed, pushes forward with the flies and these flies as well, and then Courtesan also march max to come near the flies, and then you have the Lemurs in the back. So basically, if I charge with the Bull, I get counter charge, so no problem for him, and the Succubi also follow the march forward. In the Magic Phase, he did a Scrying Bubble, which I let go through. Then he tried to put Twisted Effigy onto my Kadim Titan. I dispelled that one, and he tried an hereditary spell against my Bull. I dispelled that one. On my turn 1, so I had some decision to make. Basically, I wanted to get rid of the chaff. If I don't charge and I shoot with the Bastion and the bow shot plus some magic, it's unlikely that I'm able to kill this unit. Meaning, he will be able to chaff me another turn. And that would be a disaster, because if he chaff me another turn, for example the Anointed, then he can really push and come with the flies like that, and then get into my line, so I cannot afford that. So I needed to charge that. Then there are 2 options, either I charge with Bastion or with the Anointed. I consider the fact that he might flee. If he flee, I saw that the Anointed have a 10 charge onto this unit, and I put some ruler before at the beginning of the turn, and I saw that with moving 6, he will not be out of arc of my Anointed unit, so that was enough for me to declare the charge. So I charge against Sirens, he decided to flee, and I redirect. It was a 10 Swift Ride against them, because I checked positioning me here, I would be out of arc of everybody, so no counter charge at all. So that would be really nice, because I have my Magic Phase to support, and then I can push forward to get some counter charge for next turn, so I should be fine. but unfortunately I failed this charge, and then I used my Bastion, I think in a good way, because failing the charge would expose the flank to this unit, and I cannot afford him getting 12 flies attacking this poor anointed unit. So I use them to push forward, just to make sure if he charges me in the flank there is only one model of flies in contact with me, so not a lot of attack. And basically, if he decides to go against my Bastion, I position myself in a way that I give a front to everybody. And I'm also behind this unit, meaning if he wants to charge with Sibaresh and the flies, Sibaresh has to come here in contact only with my champion and my Bastion. And then the flies would be here. And I have the counter charge of the bull as well. So I was feeling okay, preparing on the right side 2 counter charge in case he wants to charge at me, but still really far away for the flies, so they cannot really charge here, only on double 6. And then I also started to move forward this unit that might be useful as well to get some counter charge at some points. Kadim Titan decided to move slightly to the side, and I brought back the bull out of range of divination just in case, and ready to counter charge. In my turn 1, magic, I tried to put an hereditary against these flies. I wanted to reduce the defensive to hit on 2+ with the anointed in case he wants to charge me, but I failed that. Then I tried to put End of Glory, so ward save 5 up on them. He dispelled that one, and then I had 2 dice left. I decided not to be greedy, and I decided to go for the small version of Deceptive Glamour on them, basically ensuring that if he charged me, we strike at the same time, and he has defensive 1. So that was enough for me. Obviously, big version would have made him strike after me, so probably he wouldn't have charged me. So I go for the small version, and that was cast. Shooting, I only kill 1 Siren with the Bastion, so indeed I wouldn't have been able to deal with them with shooting. His turn 2, unfortunately I don't have a screenshot, because the automatic screenshot on Warhall is made when you roll the D8, and when you have the Sentinel, the D8 is rolled at the beginning of the turn, so screenshot is not at the right time for me, the automatic one at least, and I forgot to take a manual one. Anyway, he decided to go with fly against them, that was a 5, that was a 9 rollable, he get both in, and Sibaresh decided to push here. He rallied the Sirens who moved towards here, and he pushed forward with all 3 of these units. And here I made a mistake. Rather than moving towards the center to put a threat on the Sentinel unit, I decided to move sideways, which allowed him to reform in a conga line and cast spell, not against him, but still spell against other unit, and be out of charge range of my Kadim Titan. So that was a bad decision considering the situation of the board, meaning he won't go that way with Sentinel unit. I mean, the action is on the right part of the board. So yeah, I missed the whole picture here, the global picture. Magic phase. So he gets, I use my Binding Scroll on +2 weapon skill. Basically, I wanted to be sure that the flies fight is not impossible and I don't suffer too much casualties before I countercharge, because we play flag. So I use my Binding Scroll on +2 weapon skill. He gets scrying onto these flies. I won't be able to hit on 2+, but 3+, which is fine. I want to reduce the spell that do higher damage output, mostly. He gets then reroll to wound on them. I cannot dispel that one, but then I use all my dice to dispel the -2 weapon skill agility on them. So I should be fine. He gets an hereditary against my general, but I pass my 5-up ward save. Close combat. So here on the right, I did 7 wounds only to him. He did 11 wounds to me, which is huge. I mean, it's a lot. It's more than 3 anointed. He heals 3 wounds, so total I did only 4 wounds net. So that was very disappointing for me. And the Bastion, I think, able to get the crush attack. So I popped my Flaming Banner. I was able to get the crush attack as well, and I win by 2. So I was really happy about that one and pretty surprised. My turn 2. So this was the situation in 3D. I thought you might appreciate all these flies in combat with my unit, and here you see my counter charge ready to pop. So I had some decision to make, because the Great Bull could fit here in the flank, potentially, meaning out of range of Sibaresh, making sure that I get rid of them, because I had a line of sight here. I could counter charge here in the front, but I still need to deal with Sibaresh, and then he could counter charge me and get me. It was dangerous. I could charge Sibaresh, or I could just chaff him and use my magic, which is what I decided to do. So, to counter charge here, obviously, the Troika Anointed in flank plus the Chariot. I also charge, I needed a 6 on 2 dice with Vassal to charge here in the corner to get the very nice static res to make sure I pop them, but I failed the 6 on 2 dice. They march forwards, going towards safety. They turn around to just shoot at Sibaresh and put him some flaming token. And I chaff Sibaresh with my Great Bull. Titan moves towards Sibaresh to shoot at him with the rocket, trying to do some nice D3 runes, you never know. And magic. Mark for Doom against Sibaresh. He pass his ward save, so nothing. Then I try a Grave Call against Sibaresh, but I failed the roll, so nothing this turn. Some shooting, I was able to get some flaming token on them. I shoot with the Canim Titan, misfire, and cannot shoot the rest of the game, which is really bad. Close combat, here I do 9 wounds. He did 3 wounds to me, meaning Anointed here are still alive. So obviously these guys and the BSB were striking before the flies, which is huge. So I went before him with a lot. I did 9 wounds, he did 3 to me, and with all the res I was winning by 10. And he had only 1 guy left with 1 wound, but I didn't pop him, meaning I needed to do some reforms. So I reformed them facing the top, giving a front to Sukubai and the Sirens, just making sure. And here on the left, this time he did 6 wounds to me, I did only 1 wound to him. And he healed 2 wounds, and I passed my non-rerollable, so all fine. His turn 3, so this is situation, in 3D. His turn 3, I decided to go for the charge with both Sukubai and the Sirens. He failed on a 7 Swift Ride, I guess. A 7 Swift Ride with them, and only got the Sirens, which is very good news for me, because with 12 attack on 3+2+, I should be able to deal with them. So that was really nice. Here is in combat. Sibaresh decided not to go after my bull. He has divination after all to deal with me, and goes march around and go threaten my bastion and my other scoring unit. In the magic phase, he got small and earring strike against my bull. I decided to let that go because he still had a lot of dice left, and I thought it's a small one, he might not do a lot. He rolled 10 hit, but only 4+. I saved nothing, so he did 4 wounds to me. Then he tried to put reroll to wounds on, I think on the Bastion maybe, but he failed that one. And then he tried to put a big Fate's Judgment on my Great Bull with 4 dice, but I was able to dispel that with 5 dice. Close combat, I don't know why I decided to challenge with the champion, rather than hoping to survive and then kill the flag. It just, I think that was just a decision to not suffer the attack from the chariot, but at the same time you have no chance to kill the champion. I don't know. I took the challenge with the BSB who killed the flies, and here these guys kill the Sirens. So I just turn around with a post-combat pivot looking at them, and I wasn't able to move much with the rest. And basically I look at my option, but the chariot can only charge the flies. The BSB alone can charge here, or can charge here alone or with the Anointed. And the Anointed here can only charge Sukubai. So I don't have a lot of options. So I decided to do the following. BSB the flank, Chariot the flank. And then the Anointed, who suffer 1 wound from the ruin, charge at Sukubai. I checked that with some reform, I can make sure he cannot charge me, except maybe with the Sentinel in the flank. So I should be okay. And I still had 8 wounds left, which should be enough to just... What I wanted is... I don't expect really to deal with them in one go. But if I can hold them 2 rounds of combat and then charge with Chariot, I could be fine. So that was my idea. Titan, tried to recover the lost ground and move towards the lemurs. I use my Conjurer to chaff Sentinel and make sure that the Courtesan, and if he charge me, there is no overrun onto any of my unit. And I move the Great Bull with 14 ground movement as far away as I could from Sentinel, and in line of sight to cast some spell against Sibaresh. These guys failed another charge. I charged. It was a 6 again. I had a short spot with charging the BSB before. I could charge then with them in the corner to bring a big flank, 3 rank and a standard to make sure I pop them, but I failed that charge again. And these guys just try to move away because they are flags, so they move away. Magic Face. I cast a big Deceptive Glamour against the Succubi, which is very nice because would make me strike first and hit on 2+. So that's really nice, and it will force him to dispel it. So use some dice, dispel it. Then I use 4 dice. I had a big magic card. I use 4 dice, Gravecall at 3 barrage, and I roll really nice. 8 hits, 7 wounds, and my opponent failed 6 ward saves, so I one-shot Barrage, which is really huge. It's really, really huge. Then I have 4 dice left. I try 2 dice, Pentagram of Pain against Succubi to heal myself, but I fail. And I try with 2 dice, Hereditary on them to get some nice reroll to wound with Flaming Attack, but unfortunately, my opponent dispelled that. Close combat. He goes before me, so I do 1 dead with impact hit on 2+ to wound. 1 dead. He goes before me with 22 attack on 4 up, rerollable, and then 6 up, I guess. I think it's that, yeah. And he did 5 wounds to me. That's exactly what I didn't want. I failed all 5 armor save, if I remember correctly, or maybe I passed 1. He did a lot of 6s, and basically I have only 1 model left. So I strike with 1. I still manage totally to do 4 wounds with the stomp, the impact, and the 4 attack from the remaining guy. So it's a tie combat, but yeah, that's bad for me. I have only 1 guy left with 3 wounds. So I just reform, making sure that he won't be able to charge me. And this close combat was turned very nice for me. I did a lot of wounds, some impacts, all flaming attack did really well, and basically he popped. So I've dealt with all the flies, I've killed Barrage, so this is a very nice turn 3. He's turn 4. So yeah, Menno has only 4 units left. He decided to move out with the Sentinel, because that's the only way he could be in range with my Great Bull, to move 10 forward, so he moved 10, has a line of sight to my Great Bull. I don't know if I could have avoided that by being more south, but he could still move here below, but then it would have been a risk to get charged. So I think I should have been 1 or 2 inch more to the south, just to make sure that if he wants to see me, he has to come here, and basically, because of the Bastion, and basically getting in range for the Titan to charge him. Maybe that would have been a better option. But yeah, he moves here, Succubi didn't move much. I think he made a small mistake, just in case he will need it, but these guys cannot wheel past the Sentinel, which could be potentially annoying. Magic Face. So he did small Fate Judgment against my Bull, cast it, roll, it's a D3, so I thought I might survive, let's keep my dice for an Hearing Strike. He rolled a D3, roll 2, I passed a 5 up, so I have 1 wound left. Then he rolled an Hearing Strike, 5 dice, I roll my 5 dice, I have Magical Resistance 2, so I thought that might help me, but I didn't roll enough, and he kills me. Which is annoying because plenty of panic tests. So 9 rollable passed, and I failed here 7 rerollable with them. I rolled like 10 and 11, so even if I would have been in range for the 9, it wouldn't have been enough. And I roll another 11 to go out of the board. A 10 would have kept me on the board and give me a chance to rally on 7, but I failed. So I roll 11 out of the board, which is 1 scoring unit, and remember, we are playing flags, so that's a bad news for me. And then, to add some damage, my opponent strikes before me and kills him outright. So again, it's 13, 14, 15 attack on 4 up, 6 up, no reroll. And he did exactly the 3 wounds he needed to kill me. So, yeah, that's unfortunate, because if I just survive, I could have attacked back, maybe win. But if I don't win, still get the charge with the chariot, overrun, possibly survive, go away, I don't know, do something better. So he just died, so I'm down by 2 flag. My turn 4, charge with the chariot, move the BSB, everybody out of the line of sight of the sentinel, use the relentless with them because I know I'm going to need them. This guy move away, they move away, and these guys just, I move the conjurer within the unit, and they move slightly, and yeah, Titan continue to move towards the lemur, try to put the threats on them. My magic phase, I try to put -2 weapon skill agility on them to go first and hit him better. He dispelled that, but then I get a big raven swing, fly of them, position myself here with the BSB, and do 1 wound to them. But here we had a bug. I roll 5, 5, 5, and a 6. It wasn't card 1, so basically should have been 2 hits on 4+. I wouldn't have died. But I don't know why. I thought it was the 4 hits on 4+, and I killed my vassal conjurer by doing so. My opponent also didn't notice, and the guy in the live comment, because it was live casted on Twitch, they noticed. We had an interesting discussion after the game regarding this point, and they applied what is done at the ETC, which is spectator don't interact with player playing the game. So even they noticed the mistake, they decided not to interact with us and not say anything, which is, I think, a fair decision. I don't know. In this case, it's a bit annoying because yeah, it's an obvious mistake, but I mean, I should have noticed it, so my mistake. So yeah, no vassal conjure anymore. The guy flies over, moves here, and then in close combat, I did 4, he did 1, and I reformed to be out of arc of the sentinel to avoid getting charged. So Demon turn 5, here we're still in combat, here just face me. These guys move away, they march away. Sentinels goes after my bastion unit, try to kill me. Magic phase. So he will try to finish, yeah, obviously the bastion unit. So he goes for an engineering strike against bastion. 10 hits, but still not enough to kill the guys because it needs to be split between bastion and the 2 guys. He killed 1 warrior, I saved the other one. Then he put +2 weapon skill on this close combat, try to pin me down. And I dispel distracting, close combat, still enough to kill him. And then I'm free for my turn. My turn 5, I double charge onto this unit. No overrun possibility. I move him away as much as I could. I move that away as much as I could. And I tried a long charge. I was a bit desperate at this point of time because I thought I can't survive. 1 wound here, 1 wound here. He has still 1 turn left. I might get the second flag, so it would be 2-2 on the flags, but I need to survive with them, and I cannot survive another magic phase with 2 damage spells. So I tried a long charge, thinking, yeah, I should be okay-ish. I don't know. I tried a long charge on 9, I failed it anyway, so it doesn't matter, but I just tried. Yeah, it would be a rerollable test to hold him in combat, maybe. Don't know. I tried that, but I failed the charge. And then we go into my magic phase. So close combat here, he rolled plenty of ward save, so was able to stick on steadfast. Doesn't matter that much, I'm still alive, and I managed to do a reform to just put the chariot here and put the BSB on the flank, ensuring he has still enough model in contact. It's exactly the same, but basically it's less attack on the chariot, yeah, helping me to survive with the chariot. And also the BSB can better tank this attack from Sukubai. My turn 6, his turn 6. He goes after this one, decided I have a better chance. So he passed the march check first of all. He goes after my guy. Here he passed the march check as well and march away, which is huge. It was a test on a 7, no reroll, so pretty huge. And here we're still in combat. Magic phase. +2, I don't know. Yeah, it decided to put +2 weapon skill and agility on them, but does it matter that much? Yeah, obviously he can take half point of them, maybe. But I think he needed to ensure here that he can kill me. So then, yeah, I let that in, obviously. He rolled a big unerring strike against my guy here. I dispelled that. And then it was down to the Fate Judgment. He has only 3 dice left. So I wondered, will he go for the big version or small version? Because big version, you need 8 on 3 dice. You have a 15% chance to fail, which is 15% chance to lose the game, more or less. Because last turn I will take down that flag. So if he failed that spell, it's the end of the game. But he still decided to go for the big version, get that off. Then it's d6, you roll only a 2. So 2 armor save on 3+, I failed 1, so I died. So yeah, now I'm down. Close combat, I kill these guys, so I still have a final chance with a charge in the flank on the 8 with the vassals, double 6 with the titan, and these 2 guys almost auto. It's pretty easy and straightforward. I need either the vassals or the Kalim Titan to get in to have a chance to get them and win the game. Fortunately, I failed both, so I'm going to do some more wounds. And yeah, still I don't have the fact that I lost the Conjurer was potentially huge, because I could have had on my turn 5 Raven Swing on him to ensure I get the charge turn 6. Potentially. It's 5 dice, it depends how many dice he had, but there is still potentially a chance that I could have had Kalim Titan much closer to him to try the charge. But yeah, that's it. So Mano wins it 11-9 thanks to secondary. The Conjurer that shouldn't have died doesn't change a lot. It's still an 11-9. I still would have needed the 90 points more to win the game. But yeah, I mean, it was a very, very good game, very interesting, slightly frustrating because of the rules mistakes at the end. You never like that when it happens, but I mean, that happens. I should have paid more attention and not make that mistake. But yeah, it was a very tense game. Post-game analysis. So I think my deployment put me in good condition to win the combat versus the fly, and that worked really well. I was, I think, in good positions, and yeah, I was pretty happy about the starting point, and I think the first few turns were in my favor, and I was quite happy how things evolved on a macro level. I mean, the flies coming against the 2 units that were able to hold these charges, and then having counter charge set up with no chaffing option for him. So I think that was, yeah, pretty good for me at the beginning. The Titan, that's the big mistake on a high level perspective, because if you consider this situation, that's end of turn 1. I was here where there is this corner. I could have done 7 here turn 1, so more here, and then 7 turn 2. You're already talking this position, so it's completely different to what I did. I did like that, and then turn 2 slightly sideways. So I was just out of the game with this Titan, rather than say, okay, the battle is happening here, so let's push here, put threats to the flank of them. And that was a huge mistake, just too afraid of divination, and yeah, that was really bad for me with the Titan, so that's my biggest regret. D3 Anointed, I knew it was somehow slightly risky to go against Sukubai because of the high number of attack, but it's still, I think, yeah, it's doable. It's a combat that's perfectly, I think, regarding the situation and the fact that if I don't charge, what do? I cannot do much, so I can try to go away, but Sukubai will go after me at some point. I think that was the best decision to charge, but it's a bit disappointing that I wasn't able to hold this fight. Maybe I should have helped them better with some additional combat buff. I don't know. I wasn't able to do so, and I just got punished. The Vassal failed some important charges, especially 3 of them, 2 times on a 6, and to help kill quicker the flies. I mean, if you consider the first charge, then the flies pop, then I can get overrun on a 7 Swift Ride with Chariot to help the Bastion suffer less casualties, and then you have more guys from the Bastion unit that survives. Yeah, that's a lot of ifs, but still they failed some important charges, and especially the one at the end also. Turn 3 Magic Face, after watching the replay from the live broadcast, after my Grave Call I still had 4 dice against 3. I should have just take the 4 dice, flying movement, the bull goes away, can survive 1 more turn. So that was a mistake. But yeah, it's easy to say that when you watch that again. Obviously, during the game it's hard to figure out. Regarding the list, I knew I was very sensitive to divination, and again, that's a confirmation of it. No big surprise here. The BSB and the Chariot finally shine. That was a very positive note because they didn't perform that well until that game. So I was happy that they were able to do a lot this game. Yeah, rules mistake on the Conjurer, that was a bit frustrating. When you point that out, it's just a bad feeling afterwards because you say, yeah, I know it's unlikely that I get a Raven Swing off, but it's still a possibility that I should have had that I didn't have because of the rule mistake, and that's still frustrating. Fine margin decided the game. It was very, very tense. I mean, a 3-up armor save and I won the game. So it's very tense, some small margin. Obviously, I also had some luck. Thinking turn 3 against Courtesan. One-shot him with a Grave Call is very lucky for me. So I can't complain, really, but it's very fine margin that decided this game. And credit to Menno, he fought back, took the right risk, going out with Sentinel, 5 dice on a ring strike. He took the risk and was able to escape with the win, so credit to him, well done. So guys, I still have one battle to play. It is a battle for the 3rd spot, which is still interesting. It would be nice to be on the podium. So thanks a lot for watching this game and talk to you soon on my channel. Bye bye.